Welcome back to the podcast today.
Sorry.
That's okay. We're here today to talk about a documentary on Netflix that recently came out. I think it came out like this week or something, like September 9th, it says. And I'm going to start off by saying if you have Netflix, you need to go watch this right now.
If you
Like,
don't have Netflix, you live in a different world. And why don't you have Netflix? There's so many good
that's
stuff.
true. But everybody needs to watch this because I think this is something that everybody needs to know about. This is something that everybody should know about. If you haven't known about it already, like basically what this documentary is about is it's all these people that had roles in the tech world, whether they worked for Google or Pinterest or
Facebook,
Facebook. The guy that
or
the
Instagram, or
co-creator of the co-creator of the like button,
or
people who early on
Google.
it. Let's talk over each other.
All of it. Google, Facebook. You're missing all the things.
I
Instagram.
said
Okay.
I said Google,
What?
the creator of the like button, people that were early on at Instagram, and they're talking about how the technology that they made is growing out of control. And kind of examples here. If you go on YouTube, the YouTube recommended page, you see something and you click it, and now it learns that um, now it knows that you like that kind of video. They're going to give you more of that kind of video, and you're
That's. I feel like that's obvious though. I feel like things like that have been going. Like, if you don't know about that, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about that.
yeah, that's like one of like the examples.
Like
And
Netflix has that. Like, oh, like you watch certain shows on Netflix, you get recommended these certain things. Like I remember I pay for my whole family's Netflix, but my one rule is don't go on my Netflix account because if you go, you're gonna watch something, mess up my algorithm. Then it thinks I watched this show, and I made this rule saying if you do that, I will cancel everybody on Netflix. So no one uses my Netflix account.
yeah, that's the problem with that. Like that's why I'm glad that they have, other people because then you know what you watch and it learns all about you. You know what I mean? And
You like what you don't like, but sometimes it's not perfect. But in this documentary, it says one day it will be pretty perfect.
it's growing every day. And this is one of those things that when like for years I would joke about when we're on Skype, people listening in to us. Like for years I would make this joke, and say, "Oh, what about the people that are listening right now? Like, do you have anything to say to them?" And probably while we're recording this, there's probably someone listening to our Skype call.
Well, that's
And
someone. It's like a thing recording our stuff.
well, we're recording already. But I mean like someone's listening as we're recording this. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things, or with Instagram where kind of like with YouTube where you like something and then it knows you like something and then it tries to learn more about you. And they had this in the documentary. They were going back and forth between like like a scripted like family that they were going through the different things and showing the transformation.
It's fair. I thought that was a movie they were showing. I didn't realize it was part of the documentary. I thought they took clips from this random movie, and I'm like trying to figure out what movie this is. And it's not a real movie.
No, as soon as I saw the one, the kid, the guy, I don't know what his name is, but I know he's in a lot of movies that have to do with like technology. I feel like, um,
He
but
was in what's that show called again? Clarita Diet. Pretty
okay,
good show.
yeah.
They on Netflix. Yeah,
Um,
he was in that.
but one of the other things that, like, they were saying how Facebook, um, will only show certain things. So if you like things that are related to one side of the spectrum, they're only going to start showing you that stuff. So the other people on the other side of the spectrum, they might not even see the same things that you are showing, or you're being shown.
Yeah, pretty
So
much Facebook has like a watch thing. They'll just show you watch videos and probably things that you probably like. So me, it's probably like wrestling. I'm scrolling right now. Wrestling, Netflix, comic books, just random stuff like that. But if
and
someone just like likes, I don't know, politics, they're just seeing all these politics, but like not both sides of politics, maybe one side of
just their
politics.
side, yeah. And they were saying that fake news spreads so much more faster than the real news. And it's just like crazy because I mean, I feel like we're seeing that when someone like, when someone posts something, like I feel like, for an example could be like if the Onion writes an article and it gets, spread around and then it starts trending on Twitter and then people are like, "Oh my God, like what's happening?" And then you see like, "Oh, like there's the article." There's a lot of people that don't know that, a site like the Onion is fake and it's just, for jokes and for laughs. So that
Do you know how
news
much time
was,
meme accounts trend, and then it's like, oh, this is a meme account.
yeah, exactly.
If you never clicked that profile, you wouldn't even know that was a real or fake parody account.
And then when you click that profile, then you're going to get a bunch of other suggestions and other tweets and see a bunch of other stuff that like, is in the same line as that stuff. So you're basically stuck in this big loop. And they
You're
also
pretty much
kind of
you're pretty much making your own bubble. You are in your own bubble, and you
exactly.
find other people in your own bubble, and you have your own colony of people that you have the same like-minded way of thinking, and then you guys see other people in a different bubble one day, like when you meet people, and that's why they think people are more divided than ever.
And so with this documentary, it's like I mean, watching it I was like, well, I'm never going to use social media again. um and for a good 24 hours I was like, okay, I'm not going to click the YouTube recommended page. I'm not going to like, go on Instagram as much. I'm not going to, like follow a bunch of stuff. And then like the next day I was back doing the same things that I was. And
Crack, dude. It's a crack. It's more
they were
addictive than crack.
yeah, they were saying that it's kind of like you're so used to it, and it, gives you that little bit of oomph that you would get from otherwhere or from other places, and it kind of it's just such a weird thing. And they were showing this like scripted like movie, I guess you can say. And there was these three guys that were controlling what this kid was seeing on his phone, and they were showing like, okay, this guy hasn't been on his phone for a day. Let's send him a notification. Or if you get tagged in a picture on Facebook, then you get an email saying someone tagged you in a picture, but they don't show you the actual picture because they want you to click that to go to their app, because the longer that you stay on their website or on a post, they track that and they have that information and they know that you like this over this. You'll read something about wrestling over read something about cooking. And it's like they track all this data and they take it all in and like they use it for different things. And
It's
this is a
the main
problem.
reason. Main reason is to make money off you because people think, oh, what are they going to do with all this information? It's useless. No, 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 no. They sell it to advertisers. People advertise. You see the advertisements, and they make money from the people selling certain gimmicks or whatever you're looking at. Your view equals money to the platform you're using, which doesn't seem like crazy, but essentially they're
It's
just using
weird.
you. They just want you to watch. They want you to waste more time, and they want to make more money off you. And it's not like dollars; it's probably cents. But when you add these cents over millions of people
Yeah.
using the app constantly, it's millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars, turning Facebook and YouTube and Google all into billion-dollar corporations that run the world.
And a lot of times you'll see people joking about like, let's say two people on Twitter are going at it and someone will quote it, quote tweet it and be like, "Well, how is this application free?" Well, it's free because they're stealing your data and they're learning stuff about you so they can then, sell it to other places and, you know, use you for a dime. And that's how this all these sites are free. So it's just so crazy. And then the one thing that they kind of mentioned, and this is something that I've seen for a long time, and I feel like a couple of years ago when I noticed this, I was like, okay, this is interesting. So if you, okay, well, we'll try it for instance. Um, let's say me and Justin are talking about McFlurries from McDonald's. Man, McFlurries are so great. I just had a McFlurry. It was a limited edition thing. It was a Chips Ahoy McFlurry. It was so good. There was caramel in there. It was amazing. The McFlurry. Justin likes double Oreo, triple Oreo McFlurries. So we just talked about the McFlurry for a couple seconds. Now, someone who's listening to this might end up going on Instagram and they're going to get an ad for McFlurry because it
Or
picked
add
up, or yeah, or McDonald's, um, and they picked it up, and now they have an ad on their thing because of something that we said. Or even if you're having a conversation about something, the Instagram or the Facebook or the Twitter microphone is always working. It's always picking up what you're saying. So right now, we talked about the McFlurry for a couple seconds. I'm probably going to get an Instagram ad about the McFlurry because I'm talking about it right now. It's recording what you're saying. It's not just the Alexa and the Google like thingamabobber. Like it's not just those that are recording what you're saying. It's also your phone, it's your computer, it's anything that's connected to the internet or was once connected to the internet, any technology thing that you use. And, you know, it's scary to think about, but it's just, no, we're not going to get back to a time where everybody's not using this. You know what I mean? There's never going to be a time where everyone's off Twitter, everyone's off Facebook or Instagram or whatever. It's just not going to happen. We're always going to be connected from here on out. It's not going to change at all. The same idea is still going to be there. So we've been living with it. I feel like a lot of people are going to watch this documentary if they haven't already, and they're going to be like, wow, you know, and maybe we can
It's not
start,
about using the phone, like get rid of the phone. It's about using it less. Pretty much the message is.
yeah,
It's not
like,
saying, and they're also not saying that social media is a bad thing because there's so much good
yeah,
that's used.
we
Like
wouldn't
me
be
and Mike are not
talking if it
friends.
wasn't.
Me and Mike aren't friends if doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Our group of friends, our wrestling friends that we travel with, that doesn't happen for Twitter or YouTube. We don't make friends around the world or be able to go travel because of the internet.
Hmm.
Even people like even making money wasn't for the internet. You know,
Yeah. Let me ask
so
you this.
there's so many good things.
Let me ask you this. If I text you right now, do you get a notification?
Yeah,
What about if I tweet you? Just regular
yeah,
at Justin.
yeah.
You do?
'Cause I
So,
said it to people I follow.
okay. Because I was going to ask about that. What are your notifications like?
Oh, I said it to people I follow. I don't. I used to get the thing where like the Instagram used to like, oh, someone liked your post. I only get like Instagram notifications from. I think if my girlfriend posts something, I have it set, and like someone DMs me that I follow.
Okay. Because I got to the point where the only Twitter notifications I get is if someone DMs me. And the only people that are allowed to DM me are the people that I follow. So if one of my friends DMs me for some reason, because there's a few people that I don't have their like phone number, then they just DM me back and forth. Um, so in that case, I get a notification. Other than that, if you tweet at me, I won't see it until I go on Twitter. So it's just like, I like it better that way. On Instagram, if someone tags me, like I'll get a notification, and then I'm still sometimes when I post like something on Instagram because I don't post photos of myself or I don't post like oh look at my new like shoes or something or oh look at my new outfit or something like I don't post that.
Actually,
What?
that's me.
Yeah. I just post like art, like, design stuff like every couple of months. And that's when I'm like, okay, I just keep on, like the people that I follow that like my picture, I will get a thing that said they liked it just so I can see who likes it and who doesn't. So, but yeah, like YouTube, I don't get anything anymore.
I definitely have been more aware of like especially the past couple of days. I'm like, oh, I'm scrolling through nothing again. Let me get off this. Oh, I'm not gonna. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I've noticed. Like I'm more hyper aware. I don't know how long this is gonna last, but obviously it's fresh in my mind. But by like give it like a month and ask me what I've been doing. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, it'll go away for I'm sure. Like a week from now, you're gonna be. Yeah, I'm gonna ask you, and you're like, oh yeah, like I just went back to normal.
This combo right now, just going through Facebook looking at nonsense.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I can't stand Facebook. I haven't used it in years. Like for real, used it in years. I just don't understand it. Like I don't need to. Like the only people that I have on Facebook are, like high school friends. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
use
and
it to look at all these groups now, see what deals and steals I can do and
that's
for
true.
buying
I forgot
something.
about that.
But like, it's more waste of time than actually productive.
Yeah, no, that's true. I don't know. It's
The same stuff. Like if I follow ESPN on Facebook, I'm still seeing the same nonsense on Twitter. I'm still getting all that breaking news if I look at sports.
mhm.
It's not like that matters because then I don't know, you get a notification about random stuff anyways.
Was there ever a time that you mentioned something out loud and like you never like looked it up or anything?
Oh yeah, it was like I listened to a podcast and like I can't remember what they're talking about. Then it popped up on my Instagram ad.
Okay. I remember
It's
I was
proven that they do that. It's not even like a thing where like
yeah.
we're conspiracy. It's a real thing. Been
Yeah.
proven.
Because they say you can turn off your microphone and it's fine, but so many people use the microphone in Instagram to record
Yeah.
stuff.
Which I do all every time I download a new app, I turn that all off. But
Hmm.
then eventually I have to turn it on if I use it. Like Twitter, I used to have it off all the time, and then I turned it on because um I would post pictures and stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like you need that, which is kind of scummy on their part to you have to have the microphone on in order to post something.
Hmm.
But
Anyways, go watch The Social Dilemma. It's pretty fun.
yeah,
Well, not fun. It's pretty
it's eye
mind.
opening.
It's eye opening, and most of the at least half the stuff or a lot of it you already know,
Hmm.
and you know what I mean. But it's interesting how they integrate these apps to make you like they neurologically make you want to go back to
Yeah,
a point where it's just a habit,
yeah. I
like
know.
it's psyche now.
What's it called? The one thing, and we kind of wrap up here. The one early thing that I remember catching on to was um, like Apple. They would always like kind of turn the dial down on your phone battery and your phone in general, and it would like run slower once they announced the new phone. Um, and for years, I complained about that. I was like, oh, like iPhone 5's coming out, iPhone 4 is going to be slow, and it's a crazy thing to think of, but it was true. And they came out years later and were like, "Yep, that happened. We stopped it." And I actually do think they stopped it because my phone's gone through a couple new phones now, and it's gone back to normal and hasn't had any issues. But that was one of those things that I've
I
for
remember
years was like complaining
Rogan
about.
said it one day on his podcast, and then it became like a gigantic thing eventually. Like after that, because
Who
everyone's
did?
like, "What?" Joe Rogan said it on his podcast once. Like, yeah, I swear to God, my iPhone gets slower year by year.
Man,
Like,
I was he must have listened to my many podcasts and tech videos in order to get that idea. So shout out to Joe Rogan. He's always listening. You know, there you go. I want to see if he watches this. I would like to hear his take on this.
I doubt it.
I don't know, man. It'd be interesting.
I don't know. It's like the biggest news. He's like the biggest. He's like big as like CNN.
Hmm.
And that's great. Like if something like trends from what he says on his podcast, it like that video clip just goes everywhere.
Yeah, that's
Or
true.
maybe I'm just in my own bubble. I don't know anymore.
No, no, no. You're right.
Anyways,
All right, that's it. Social Dilemma. Go check it out on Netflix. And that's it. We'll talk to you
tomorrow.